Hey guys, Chicky Domain, Deboo.com with a Deboo.com surf forecast update. This forecast update effective around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, August 29th, 2016. And Florida surfers, if you have not signed up for Salt Life Food Shack's Florida Big Wave Challenge, Google Salt Life Food Shack Florida Big Wave Challenge, go to the website, read the details, and register online. Past contestants, if you have not signed up yet, now is your time, because it looks like the Atlantic is about to bust wide open. That's no hype. We're going to show it to you and break it all down. Here's the latest visible satellite imagery. Set this up for you. We now have major Hurricane Gaston east of Bermuda. TD number 8 off the Outer Banks, forecast to become tropical storm. TD number 9 over here off the western tip of Cuba, also forecast to become a tropical storm. And we've got an upper level low here that's like between all of them. Now, one thing about upper level lows, guys, is that given the right circumstances and conditions, if they're allowed to spin over the same area for a period of time, sometimes they can work their way down to the surface. Don't see anything happening with that. In case somebody was looking, what is that? However, either way, guys, it looks like some big surf is setting up just in time for the peak of the 2016 tropical Atlantic cyclone season. Switch you over to the latest 24-hour swell forecast out of the NOAA Ocean Prediction Center. Major Hurricane Gaston, the first major hurricane of the Atlantic 2016 season, is spinning over here. Look at that round disc, guys. This is throwing swell in every direction. What you see over here along the coast, this is the first swell from the original swell production when Gaston moved off the coast, intensified to a hurricane, but then dropped back down to a tropical storm for a couple of days and has now re-intensified back to a major hurricane. Since yesterday, guys, this is just sitting north of the lat 30 line. Since yesterday, it's basically been sitting and spinning on the backside of Bermuda since yesterday. Again, TD number 8 off the Outer Banks. Possible surf alert setting up as TD number 8 moves up towards the north. Bottom half of the semicircle, offshore winds. TD number 9 moving out of the Gulf of Mexico. Panhandle surfers, possible surf alert setting up for you. Yucatan swell event, Yucatan Channel swell event as a strong east-southeast flow begins to increase through here. We'll show you that in the wind forecast in just a moment. Gulf of Texas, you're on the game too, and so is Southwest Florida. Guys, for you guys, we're going to do a separate update probably later on this afternoon, but looks like tropical storm, 45 to 55 knots moving into the Big Bend area over the next 48 to 72 hours before exiting the northeast Florida coast. Switch you over to the 72-hour swell forecast out of the Tropical Atlantic Forecast Branch, National Hurricane Center, showing 12 to 13 seconds northeast swell in here, aimed at the Bahamas, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, guys. And this is the extended forecast is setting up big for you too. For now, let's go into a buoy update. Gonna start you off with station ID 02. This is South Hatteras Buoy, and the front runners of Gaston swell just started showing up yesterday afternoon, has held overnight, showing 4 to 5 feet out of the east-southeast at 13 seconds, and it's now starting to mix in a couple of pings of some east-northeast. That's going to increase. I just showed you the 72-hour swell map. Next up is station ID 08. This is Gray's Reef, guys, and Gray's Reef picking up on the first pings of Gaston swell this morning. This is going to fill in for the rest of the day. First ping this morning, 5 a.m., 2 feet at 16 seconds, currently 2 feet at 15 seconds, and then dropping down the coast to the Nearshore Canaveral Buoy. Nearshore Canaveral Buoy picking up on the front runners of Gaston swell now, 3 feet out of the east-southeast at about 14 seconds. And now we're going to work our way out, guys. The next station up is 047. This is the northeast Bahama buoy. So east-southeast swell still coming over the top of that buoy as of report time, showing 4 to 5 feet, 12.1 seconds out of the east-southeast. Working your way, Mid-Atlantic. Station ID 048. This is the Paul West Bermuda buoy. This is west-southwest of Bermuda. The swell has started, Gaston swell started filling in on this yesterday afternoon as well. Currently showing 4 feet, 12.9 seconds out of the east-northeast. The initial east-southeast swell energy has already passed. Now this is the east-northeast. You'll see this rotate to northeast over the next 24 to 48 hours, but that's from the regeneration when Gaston became a major hurricane. Moving you up to Diamond Shoals buoy. Diamond Shoals, you guys got some front runners yesterday of Gaston swell, 14 to 15 seconds. We're still waiting to see what's going to fill in. TD number 8 is kind of screwing with your winds a little bit. Currently, the buoy showing 5 to 6 feet of swell height out of the east-southeast, but only at about 9 seconds. Again, TD number 8 putting a little chop and shortening up those periods. New England surfers, the Nantucket buoy, picking up on front runners. Major Hurricane Gaston starting yesterday afternoon, showing 2 feet yesterday afternoon and now up to 4 feet, 13 seconds out of the southeast. You guys should have some favorable winds. You're probably not listening to me right now because you're probably surfing. Going to switch you over to some imagery now. And again, here is to the right. It's out of your screen, but Gaston is spinning over here. TD number 8 off the Outer Banks. TD number 9 down here in the Gulf of Mexico. Water vapor imagery, guys. Let me remind you that even though this is going to be a tropical storm, or some may say a weak area of low pressure, weak areas of low pressure known to dump copious amounts of rain. For East Florida surfers, it looks like some heavy rain setting up off the East Florida coast. Don't get discouraged by the onshore wind because the rains could offer periods of cleanup at the same time Gaston swell is coming in. We're going to get into the wind forecast here in just a second. This is the latest wind shear map with TD number 9 off the western tip of Cuba, with a general track towards the central Gomex, where wind shear's a little bit more favorable. So this is probably where it'll intensify into a tropical storm and then into the Big Bend and then exiting the northeast Florida coast. This is TD number 8 in here. TD number 8 is going to lift off towards the north and then northeast. Bottom half of the semicircle, offshore winds coming for the OBX, guys, and there should be plenty of swell inbound at the same time of those offshore winds. Possible surf alert setting up for mid-Atlantic surfers. Here's the latest 48-hour surface forecast out of the Tropical Atlantic Forecast Branch, National Hurricane Center, showing tropical storm number 9. Max winds 40, gusts to 50 on day 2. Day 3, max winds 45 to 55 knots, moving into the Big Bend area before crossing over northeast Florida. This is TD number 8, Mid-Atlantic surfers, forecast to become a tropical storm by tomorrow. There's going to be a race between TD 8 and TD 9, who can become Hermine first. If the other one, or if both develop, we'll have Hermine and Ian with Julia moving off the African coast. Lots of time to watch that one, guys. Let us set it up for you. This is the current wind forecast map for today. TD number 9, spinning over here off the western tip of Cuba. Texas, you're in the game. Again, Panhandle surfers, possible surf alert setting up. And Southwest Florida surfers, strong southwest onshore flow developing. You guys, we're going to do a separate update for you. It's first time this year that you've got a chance at possible surf alert. Mid-Atlantic surfers, here's that TD number 8. East-northeast wind flow off the Outer Banks. But again, as this lifts up to the north, offshore winds coming with Gaston swell still producing on the backside of Bermuda. Moving you into Wednesday, guys. This is 48 hours. TD number 9 in the central Gulf of Mexico now. Northeast winds for Panhandle surfers. Southwest winds into southwest Florida East Florida surfers, chance of some sideshore, offshore winds, onshore into the Carolinas in here, and then mid-Atlantic surfers, Outer Banks. Here's your offshore winds here on Wednesday morning. Now, timing may be suspect, guys. It's the best information I have available. Always keep in mind, the forecast subject to change, but here's that Yucatan swell event. Now, the latest forecast of the winds are not as strong as what they were showing a couple of days ago. But again, remember, guys, forecasts can change. There's that strong easterly trade flow. And as this wraps up in the southerly suck up, this can develop a Uke Channel swell event. If winds blow in this direction, just like this for a sustained amount of time, you can get swell coming out of this Yucatan Channel aimed up here at the Florida Panhandle and then over to Texas. As you can see, this is going to move in this way as far as the winds. Any swell coming out of the Uke Channel, Texas, southern Texas surfers, that's going to get pushed in your way. You may have onshore winds, but it's going to, at least you're going to have something to surf. Move you to the next image, guys. This is for Wednesday for the mid-Atlantic surfers. Again, here's your offshore winds coming off TD number 8, possible tropical storm Hermine or Ian. New England surfers, southerly flow in here towards Nova Scotia. Still favorable winds as they are light with major hurricane Gaston spinning over here. And then off, he will be moving off towards the northeast, towards the North Atlantic. This is for Thursday. Southwest Florida surfers. Strong onshore flow developing into Southwest Florida. Offshore winds for Panhandle. Again, with that swell coming out of the Uke, we're going to try and verify that for you over the next 24, 48 hours as TD number 8 goes to develop into a tropical storm. East Florida surfers. Here comes some southerly suck up and some strong winds, and that's probably going to drown out the Gaston swell for us, but there's big changes on the way. This is for Saturday. This is TD number 8 now, moving out of the central Gulf of Mexico over northeast Florida and east of the Outer Banks. We have northeast swell from Hurricane Gaston out here, and now another reinforcing shot of northeast ground swell setting up. I just showed that to you in the 72-hour swell forecast. Bahamas, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico. As this moves off towards the northeast, this should put another shot behind the northeast ground swell, northeast ground swell that's heading your way now. That is, unless this image is also for Saturday. This area of low pressure, which is the current tropical wave that the National Hurricane Center is giving a 50% chance of development next 5 days, moving off Africa. If this system comes in over the top of you, and I hope it does, guys, we don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. But as this comes over the top of you, hopefully you've got that reinforcing northeast ground swell coming in from Gaston now, plus TD number 8, intensifying to tropical storm east of the Outer Banks with a southerly suck up as this passes by. That means Puerto Rico, offshore winds coming for you, same time, northeast ground swell. Guys, that's all we got for you for now. Stay tuned for the next update.